This small alpine nation holds more wealth per person than any other on Earth. Yet, just 2 centuries ago, it was one of the poorest countries in Europe.
Buried deep within the mountains lies the secret to a trillion-dollar transformation.
From a land of mercenaries to the vault of the world. How did Switzerland build an empire from almost nothing? In the early 1800s, Switzerland was a fragmented land of struggling farmers. With no sea access and no coal, the future looked bleak for the Swiss. The harsh geography forced the Swiss to look outward for survival.
For centuries, their main export was not goods, but their young men. Known as mercenaries, Swiss soldiers fought and died for foreign kings across Europe.
But the money sent home planted the seeds of something revolutionary.
A change began in the eastern cantons of St. Gallen and Zurich.
Farmers utilized the winter months to spin cotton into thread in their cottages. This humble putting-out system became the foundation of Swiss industry.
Swiss entrepreneurs realized they could import raw cotton and export finished fabric.
Rivers in the Alps provided the water power needed for new machines.
By 1850, Switzerland had become the most industrialized nation in mainland Europe. Textile profits flooded into the country, creating a new class of wealthy merchants.
But they faced a critical problem: how to move this wealth around.
When foreign banks refused to fund the risky mountain tracks, Escher acted.
That bank was Credit Suisse, and it kick-started the modern financial sector.
Tunnels were blasted through solid rock, connecting the north to the south.
The Gotthard Tunnel became a symbol of Swiss engineering and sheer will.
Suddenly, Swiss goods could reach the global market faster than ever before.
The wealth generated by textiles and railways needed a safe place to grow. Europe was constantly at war, making capital flight a common problem. Switzerland's permanent neutrality became its greatest economic asset. While neighbors burned, Swiss vaults remained untouched and secure. The French and German elites began sending their gold to Zurich and Geneva. A banking culture rooted in discretion and stability took deep root. The money from textiles was reinvested, not into heavy machinery, but into chemistry. Synthetic dyes for textiles became the first major chemical breakthrough. Companies like Sieber and Geigy turned Basel into a global pharmaceutical hub. But the Swiss obsession with precision was about to create a new icon.
In the Jura Mountains, farmers began crafting tiny mechanical watch parts.
The watchmaking industry combined the textile trade's dexterity with engineering genius. By the early 20th century,
Switzerland produced over half the world's watches.
It was a high-value export that fit into a pocket and crossed borders easily. The world fell in love with the precision of Swiss-made.
Then, the disaster of the First World War shattered the global economy.
Switzerland stood alone, an island of peace in a sea of chaos. Wealth poured in as the continent destroyed its own industrial capacity.
In the 1930s, banking secrecy laws were formally codified.
This made Switzerland the ultimate tax haven for the global elite. During World War II, the country survived by trading with all sides. Controversial but effective, this strategy preserved the nation's infrastructure and capital.
When the dust settled in 1945, Switzerland was the only country left standing.
Its factories were intact, its banks full, and its currency strong.
The Swiss miracle saw the economy triple in size within decades.
Unemployment dropped to near zero, a feat unheard of in the West.
The wealth was distributed through a unique system of direct democracy. Citizens voted on taxes, ensuring the government remained efficient and lean. The post-war era saw the rise of the modern welfare state. But unlike others, it was funded by a robust private sector, not debt.
Then came the 1970s, and a threat from the East emerged.
The invention of the quartz watch by Japanese companies devastated the Swiss.
Within years, the Swiss watch industry collapsed, losing tens of thousands of jobs.
It looked like the end of their dominance in manufacturing.
They merged struggling brands to form the Swatch Group.
They rebranded the watch not as a tool, but as a piece of jewelry.
The high-margin mechanical watch made a triumphant return.
Today, a single Patek Philippe can cost more than a house.
While watches rebounded, another sector was quietly taking over the world. The chemical dye labs of the 19th century had evolved into pharma giants. Companies like Novartis and Roche became leaders in drug innovation.
Switzerland now spends more on R&D per capita than almost any nation.
The tiny industry of textiles had birthed a biotech empire. But the true engine of wealth remains the financial sector, managing nearly a third of the world's private offshore wealth.
This generates billions in fees and keeps the Swiss franc incredibly strong. A strong currency makes imports cheap, keeping standards of living high. So, why Switzerland and not their mountainous neighbors?
It was the political stability that allowed long-term planning. It was the education system that prioritized skills over theory. And it was the culture of consensus, avoiding political gridlock.
The geography forced them to be smarter, faster, and more efficient.
They turned the disadvantage of no resources into an innovation advantage. Today, Switzerland is a hub for commodities trading, not just banking.
Glencore, based in Zug, controls a vast empire of global oil and metals.
Even without a drop of oil, they profit from the world's energy.
The infrastructure is immaculate, run with the precision of a clock. Trains run to the second, reflecting the national respect for time.
The result is the highest nominal wealth per adult on the planet.
Swiss cities like Zurich and Geneva regularly top quality of life rankings.
The streets are safe, the public services are sublime, and the taxes are competitive.
It is a magnet for the world's brightest minds and biggest companies. The empire was built not on conquest, but on reliability and trust. From the blood of mercenaries to the precision of lasers. The journey from poverty to prosperity was a calculated evolution. They built a banking fortress on the foundation of a weaving loom. They avoided the trap of relying on a single resource.
Instead, they invested in the one resource that never runs out: human potential.
The tiny industry of textiles was just the spark. The fuel became an unshakable belief in education and neutrality. It represents a neutrality that is worth its weight in gold. A small country that taught the world how to be rich. The lesson here is not about geography, about mindset.
Switzerland proves that value comes from what you add, not what you extract.
They built a banking fortress on the foundation of a weaving loom.
A nation that transformed isolation into the ultimate exclusivity.
As the global economy shifts, Switzerland remains the steady hand.
Adapting to digital currencies and sustainable technologies.
The empire of the Alps continues to grow in silence.
A testament to the power of peace, precision, and patience. The mountains remain unchanged, but the wealth within them has soared.
From the spinning wheel to the microchip.
A story of how the underdog became the titans.
An empire built without firing a single shot in anger. The richest country on earth, forged in the valleys of poverty. A legacy of genius, hidden in plain sight. The Swiss Empire.